looks like I'm going to have myself some nice weather to try to get something done today. Goal for the day, get the framing for the nesting boxes done, as well as for the side with the man door and the clean out door. And depending on how far I get with that, time to do the last wall on the side. That way, next day I have off work, I can focus on doing the roof. Of course, I brought my little mobile workshop down here. Now I got some good weather in the forecast. I have no issues running power down here to make it a little bit of a quicker process. I think I'm going to probably get rid of this and re-stud that or do something there because I don't need that many nesting boxes, I don't think. I don't know. I'll see. Who knows what I'm going to do because I surely don't. Well, I got the floor of the nesting boxes practically framed up, or the subfloor, or whatever you want to call it. I'm probably going to wait to finish that until I get everything else framed up and tied in together. That way everything's kind of solid while I'm out here beating on this. I definitely kind of need to start framing up the roof because that's going to be the biggest thing to tie everything in together, because especially this side, there isn't a whole lot of studs that's going to go straight up through because of the nesting boxes. Therefore, there's not really a whole lot to tie it into. And with the door being there, that's another spot that I don't really have a lot of room to tie into. So get the rafters, or get the other side framed up. Go ahead, start framing up the roof from this side, tie it into that side. That way nothing can kind of shift back and forth. Then I can go ahead and finish the door, the clean out door, and it'll be all tied in. I think that's the best way of doing it. I don't know. If you're watching to learn from me, don't do that. I'm hoping I'm more of an inspiration than I am a teacher, because I'm just not experienced enough yet. I know a thing or two about carpentry, but I am definitely no expert. But I guess it'll all work out. I mean, it's just a chicken coop. I'm not building a house for myself where I got to deal with inspections and all that. However, I do want it to be strong enough to last, obviously. So, time to make some more progress. But it looks like I'm going to have to tear apart more pallets because I'm about out of 2x4s. Most of my 2x4s are the main, like the thick runners that go underneath all the pallet boards. I got one there left, a bunch of 1x that were used for that, and I know I got like a couple short pieces strung about, but I want the good long ones. But I know my 2x4 situation is going to be the hardest part of this. And at least for the roof where I'm going to be studding it, I do not need my long pieces. I just need, kind of here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need about 6 or 7 of them in the back. And everything else can be tied in with 1x. And even the studs for the roofs can be used from the 1x. But I definitely do want to do the 2x4s on the corners. That way they're up there yelling. They've been rowdy. I think breeding season's about ready to start. I also do have a couple of these. I think they're 2x3s. I have a couple of them from the fence itself. They're not all in the best of shape, but they can be used. I want to use them for the roof because those are kind of my longest pieces. And I think they measure out to be the exact length I need, or slightly longer. I mean, it is fairly long. And considering I am going to tear down this fence, not the post, just the fence itself, I will get a supply of these, even if I have to start tearing this down early. I can claim from there. That way I can still go on the claiming this to be free. So far, the only thing I really bought so far is the nails, which I'm not going to consider in the cost of this, because quite typically when you're building, you know you're going to need nails and screws and all that. So even if you are using free resources, the hardware is where you're going to cost. But if anybody's curious, I think those nails, those 2.5 inches, I got 3.5 that I use to tie my bottom plates into the studs on the subfloor. Those put together, I think I spent about $30 on. I did go ahead and buy some hinges and stuff that I know I needed. So right now, if you were to include the cost of the hardware, I am about $50. So technically, it's not truly free, but again, I do not consider hardware as a major expense for a building project like this. because I'm not going to use all them nails, I don't think, on this, so I'll end up going to another project. Time to get back to work. Actually, before I go too much further, I just propped that up to kind of get a good idea. That's about the slope of the roof. Of course, that stud will be straight up. It's just there to keep that in line right now. I think it's like a 30-degree pitch. I may be wrong. If I had to guess, I mean, I haven't measured it yet. That's going to be enough around here to keep snow off for the most part. Plus, once I straighten that up, because I think that is about the length I need. Because from here to here on where I'm standing at now is going to be the door, and there's plenty of space for the head to where you ain't hitting your head. Now over there, obviously it's going to be shorter, but that's fine because that's where all the roosting boxes are going to be. So right about that point there is where space becomes an issue for headroom. But yeah, but that's fine because I won't be spending much time on that side other than help cleaning it out. Most of that work I'll be using with the rake. It is long enough to where I can get to about there with the rake from the outside, but if I got to come in here and rake it to there, which obviously I will from this corner too, not a big deal. I like it. Now I know I got another one of them somewhere, so I can definitely get the two ends started, and then I can go ahead and start studding this wall here. But I want to definitely get the two sides done first, because that way I got plenty of structure to work off of when I'm walling this up. But this comes first, because I know that's going to go to the exact height of those there. Or maybe not, because the height of them 2x4s are going to put me there. Well, I got most of the walls framed up, all but on that side. That can wait for now, because I got to figure out actually how I want to do the doors and such. In fact, I almost had to do the roof before I can do the door. I mean, that was just up there for temporary, so I could start getting measurements and getting the degrees and all that. But basically, I'll be just one of those at every stud all the way down. And then that'll be that. I think I just saw a hawk. Wow, I got distracted. Geese, do your job, yell it away. The thing isn't very square on everything, but that's kind of because dealing with reclaimed lumber, it's not exactly the easiest thing to keep everything square, so it's more or less cut to fit everywhere, which I don't really mind that, because pretty much everything then is relatively tight, fits together, even if it's not perfectly square. Kind of saves on material and all that. But it's coming along. I ain't gotta be all for this episode. I'd say the next one, do the roof, and I got actually a project in mind for that, because going along on the free material, the hardest part's getting roofing for free. So I think I got an idea to make some roofing. I hope so, because I ain't got the money to roof it. So if I can make it for all free, I'll be in good shape. Then, of course, nesting boxes will be last. I want to get everything else tied in, because this is kind of like a weight on this side, which I think it's all sturdy and tied in enough now. I could get away with putting that together. But also, considering I kind of almost need to do the siding underneath it before I go ahead and start framing that up, because once that's done, it's going to be hard to get in there to hit with a hammer too. I mean, it is about 3 foot off the ground, maybe 4. Nah, about 3. I hope I inspired somebody to do something, because I ain't in here to teach anybody anything. I'm more or less trying to document it for myself, and also to prove that money isn't always the main limiter. It's the mind, or something like that. Am I being inspirational? Probably not. But hey, I'll see y'all in the next one.